It's like y'all just let me do anything.
All right, here we go. In three, two, one. Hello, and welcome to episode 163 of the WrassleCast. I'm your host, Don Delarente, and I'm joined by my SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Dee Dee Jonay.
Hey, friends.
What's going on, friend? How are you?
I'm good. They had wine at my job today. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
they ain't tell nobody, but it's the holiday season, so you just gotta walk in and out of offices and find shit.
Okay.
They'd
Did
be
they
like,
have a
for
good
me?
selection?
Oh yeah, three whites, two reds. It was amazing.
Okay.
And some
Well,
oranges for vitamin C or whatever.
that leads me right into check out the newest CSPN podcast, Bad and Boozy, where you guys can find out about all types of wines. So check them out.
Hey.
And we're joined tonight by the leader of the Chill Conglomerate, none other than Mo_Reese. What's going on, Reese?
What's going on, Don and D? Thanks for having me.
Oh man, thanks for being able to join us tonight. Welcome back to the WrassleCast. Just
Thank
a
you.
reminder that you can find the WrassleCast at www.cspn.us. You can also follow us on Tumblr at wrestlecast.tumblr.com. We can also be found on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. You can also download us on any app for iTunes or Android that plays podcasts. So we're going to get right into the news. Early on Sunday morning, everybody woke up to the news in wrestling Twitter of the homie, Rich Swann, being arrested for battery and false imprisonment against his wife. And about a couple more hours after that, the WWE suspended Rich Swann indefinitely. And it looks like, depending on how this works out in court, his career in WWE is definitely in jeopardy. So, Maurice, fellow just Baltimorean, just like our man, Rich Homie Swan. What's up with your mans?
Oh man, I just woke up and I saw the Bleach Report alert saying he was arrested. I'm thinking like, okay, it's just an old mugshot or something, and the date said was very current, and I'm like, what the hell did you do? It's crazy that we really never had somebody in wrestling represent the city, and I've just been following him for a couple of years because a lot of my wrestling friends, they've been following him on the indies. And so I found out he was from Baltimore. So I said, okay, let me look him up and try to learn more. And then it's like, it's tough to have somebody coming from here who's not Drew Hill or, something like that, that's getting worldwide recognition. And just seeing that, it was disappointing. It was sad. And, you know, a lot of people was just let down by that because we know his story, and now it's just like he took some steps back, and it's very likely his WWE career is done, finished.
Miss Didi Jonay, do you have any thoughts about the homie, Rich Swan?
This is why you should just be single. Just be single. That way you don't gotta be fighting your baby mama, girlfriend, wife. You just be single. You can thot and bop in the hotel rooms on some Ric Flair shit. And you don't have any of these issues.
Apparently, he was mad about her performance at a wrestling show down there in Gainesville, Florida. He was
She
upset about.
wrestles.
Yeah, she's a wrestler on the indie
You
circuit. I think.
see, you don't date wrestlers. Didn't he learn anything from Paige and all of her boyfriends? Like what is wrong with him? Ridiculous.
Yeah, so she was upset about her performance, and then they got into an argument. She got out the car. They said apparently he put her in the headlock and dragged her back in, and she said she was fearful of her life. And That was
I
that.
mean, he is
He wasn't
from
even on the world.
Baltimore, so
You know what? That's the thing. That's another thing I want to clear up. Not everyone from Baltimore. Not
tuh,
all everybody.
tuh.
We're not
Get your
all
lie
bad
out. Hold on. Go
people.
ahead. Go ahead. Get your lie out. What?
We're not all bad people. You know,
Mm.
we have some people who um oh
Yeah, look at you stumbling over them words. Yes.
stop D, don't do me like that.
Yes.
But
What's
no,
up
but
with you people from Baltimore?
I
What?
mean, it's bad enough. Every time somebody asks us, it's like the wire, and I'm like, come on, that was like 10 years ago. Leave us alone. No, but seriously, a lot of people, it can happen anyway. Somebody could just mess up, and
I mean, yeah, it could happen anywhere, but like, where do things normally happen? Florida,
we're yeah,
Baltimore,
but we're not going to sit here and act
usual
like
suspect
Baltimore.
shit.
But we're not going to sit here and play like Baltimore is the bad seed of the whole entire world, the whole United
No,
States.
it's just the bad seed of the Eastern Seaboard. That's all.
Oh, and DC is like, the Holy Grail.
I'm a
And,
resident now, so hold on, hold on. If you talking shit, make sure you talking about Southwest or Northwest. Leave Northeast out of it.
Am I gonna have to come in here and break you two up?
That was the big thing growing
yeah,
up. You be like Baltimore, DC beef, and
right.
you
Go
suburban, but
versus
you
club
still
music. Come on
right.
now.
And then you from like Maryland, but not Baltimore. But you certainly not gonna claim Baltimore. But DC people don't want you claiming them neither. It was a whole thing.
Or people try to say, Baltimore's the DMV. No, we're not. Let's clear it up
No,
right
and
now.
listen, first of all, anybody from DC don't want you saying DMV because we're not a part of those motherfuckers. First of all, so then Baltimore be like, I'm Baltimore. I'm not none of them neither. It's
It's
so
either you from
what it
Baltimore or you from
is
Maryland.
what it is it's Northern Virginia. So be like, it's the DMV, and everybody look at them like, where'd you come from?
Like, oh, Baltimore's in Maryland, yeah, but that's not the DMV.
It's really not. If you can't get to it on the metro, it's not the DMV. To be quite
certainly,
honest. To be quite honest.
certainly isn't. So I'm like,
Although I can get to Baltimore on a train. Not that I've done that a time or two.
I mean, I can get to DC on a train too. Two trains actually, the Mark or the Amtrak. What's up?
I take the mark. Well, I took the mark. That's why I know
Yeah.
about you Baltimore niggas.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. See,
Yeah.
that's a whole different podcast
Yeah.
now.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. It
All
was
right.
cute while it
Okay. All
lasted.
right.
Hey, I know all about Penn Station.
As Jeremy would
Mm-hmm.
say, all right. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Our next little bit of news
Mm-hmm.
coming from WWE land is that they announced a mixed match challenge tournament to be broadcast on Facebook starting January 16th.
Facebook.
It's a 12th week tournament where the winners will get 100,000 each for their charity.
No, I want 100,000.
Well, they get
Period.
paid 100. Well,
You
I
already
just
some of them
get,
get paid
yeah, you get
100,000.
paid more than that.
don't they want 100,000 more? Well, I'm not understanding.
Tax write
Well,
off.
if they're doing something like this,
Uh,
they doing it for charity. They can't,
I was about
get
to say,
actual
like,
money.
you're not gonna try to convince me Becky couldn't use $100,000. Like, that's not gonna work. But fine, sure, charity, whatever.
The lineups for each side on the Raw side, we're gonna have Alexa Bliss, Alicia Fox, Asuka, Bailey, Braun, Enzo, Finn, Goldust, Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, The Miz, and the final superstar will be selected by a fan vote. On the SmackDown side, you'll have Becky Lynch, Bobby Roode, Carmella, Charlotte, Jimmy Uso, Lana, Naomi, Natalia, Rusev, Sami Zayn, Nakamura, and the winner of a fan vote between Big E, Kofi, and Xavier Woods.
Hey, I just want it to be noted that months ago, all I asked for was a reason why Asuka and Nakamura would be in a match together. And I know that it's not quite how I wanted it, but I want my check. That was my idea.
I mean, this might
My
be a
idea anyway.
reason. Might be a reason for them to further Enzo and Naya's storyline, so to speak.
I'm sure, but I'm just mad that I was this close to getting a tag team between Asuka and Nakamura, and they like switched it just enough that it won't happen. My feelings are hurt. That's okay. We'll get there. Maybe next year when somebody switches teams.
Well, yeah, we'll see how the teams are come together, and those teams will be announced on January the 4th.
Yeah, they already have some promo about it. I saw one with Charlotte and pictures of her and Bobby Roode, her and Rusev, and her and Nakamura. And then there's a video with Naomi and Jimmy. And he's like, well, wait a minute. What if I'm not even tag team with you? I could be with this person or that person or that person. And she's like, well, who don't you want to be with? And he's like, you?
Oh God, he gonna be on
So
the
then,
couch.
so then she got on Twitter and she was like, you will be in the tub. Not the couch, the
Oh damn.
tub.
Oh, not even a couch. You got
Not even
that's
a couch. You know,
that
they be at the
porcelain is cold.
hotel. You be in
Oh
the
yeah.
tub. Have
Mm,
fun. One blanket. Yes. So
Jesus.
All right, so that'll be something to look forward to in January. Interesting that it shows Facebook to air this on.
Can you imagine get an alert Facebook Live saying WWE is live with the mix with that new show, the Mix Max Challenge? Come on now. You sitting there great going to sleep, and next thing you know, WWE is live. You sitting there like, oh gosh, let's watch this,
Well,
and then fall asleep on it.
January 16th, that will be the future, man. That will be a reality. So we will see. So now we'll get into our reviews.
Hold
Monday.
on, real quick. Hold on, real quick, real quick. I know you got a show for this, but what you think about that Jericho Omega confrontation?
Oh, great piece of
flames.
business. Uh,
Flames.
both days, with Jericho showing up after Kenny won the 6-man match where he
Yeah,
defeated Rocky Romero with the One Wing Angel. They showed a video. Jericho, of course, mocking Kenny, telling him that he's gonna whoop his ass, and he's never been in a match like this coming up at the Tokyo Dome. Lights come back up, and Jericho's in the ring behind Kenny, and he proceeds to whoop his ass, hits him with the title belt, busts Kenny open. Um, just really
the
does a
announcer
number on him.
sold. The announcer sold that. That's the kind of selling you need when somebody pops up.
Yeah, and
They sold that.
he so Jericho beats him down, leaves the ring, and of course, Don Callis is the number one promoter, commentator for New Japan. Kenny Omega's biggest supporter. Jericho's, one of his best friends. He gets in the ring to try to check on Kenny, and Jericho sees it. Jericho doubles back, gives Don Callis a code breaker, gives him a few good punches, leaves him laying in the ring. They have to stretcher Don Callis out because Don Callis has neck issues, and his neck was all jacked up. Young Bucks had to come back and chase Jericho away with a baseball bat or whatever. So he's all bloodied up going to the back. So the next day, they have the press conference for Wrestle Kingdom 12, and Jericho's sitting at the press conference. He's getting interviewed. And then all of a sudden, out of the right side, you just kind of see Jericho look over really fast, and here comes Kenny Omega like 100 miles an hour, and it attacks him at the press conference. Does a pretty good number on Jericho, has him down or whatever. Then when Jericho gets back up, he kind of evens the odds out. But Jericho gets the best of him at this too because he ends up throwing a table at
That
Kenny
was
Omega
hilarious.
and knocked him off the stage.
He just picked up the table and threw it like it was nothing. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's
So just good old school like attitude era, old school WCW NWA type build.
it
Um,
was. I was like,
just
I gotta watch that. I was like, definitely gotta somehow watch Wrestle Kingdom because that sold me right there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that same sentiment. Chris Jericho was talking about it, and he basically said that it was something that was old school. It was something that nobody expected to happen, and they sold a lot of tickets based on it. So he said, he was highly satisfied. He said that if he's involved in a match, his direct quote was, "I'm not Brock Lesnar. I can't just sit back and not do anything to hype the match. I got to be involved."
Right.
So yeah, that it was just a really good piece of business, and looking forward to Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th.
All right.
So Monday Night Raw, Samoa Joe starts off the show, talks about the history and the legend of the Shield, and he's not really that impressed. He says he broke Rollins' leg on the first night there. Ambrose runs from here, and he's put Reigns to sleep more times than he can count. So Samoa Joe calls out Roman Reigns. He says that he wants to end him, end his existence on the planet. It's all because of him and Dean that Seth are not the tag team champions. Joe doesn't need anyone, and if it weren't for the Shields, Reigns wouldn't be where he is right now either. So of course, they're in the back. They showed Seth and Dean in the back, listening to Joe talk crazy. They go get Roman. Roman's standing up the monitor. He's listening to it. He's had enough, so he comes out. And they just have a crazy fist fight. But it's a trap because Sheamus and Cesaro hit the ring, and all three of them beat down Roman Reigns. Seth and Dean then make the save, but Roman gets choked out by Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe and the bar stands tall while the Shield are left in a pile of pain. So very good opening promo. Very good trap set by Samoa Joe. His mic skills are off the chart. Everything's so real, so believable. And yeah, he's got a point. Every time that him and Roman seem to encounter each other, Roman's always got that spit forming in the corner of his mouth because he's getting his ass choked out. Samoa Joe 316.
Yeah.
Chokes your ass out, punk. So we have our first match. We have Bayley and Mickie James versus Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Mickie James heads up top and hits the seated senton, and then it all breaks down. Paige cuts off Mickie with the head kick, allowing Mandy Rose to get the win. So Absolution steals one and using heel tactics. Thoughts, concerns? Nope. Okay.
I mean, I see a lot of everybody on the WrassleCast hashtag are tired of Absolution. I'm like probably like the only fan of Sonya Deville. I'm probably gonna be that way for a minute. So I'm kind of just hoping that if they build her up to be a badass, then she could really be run roughshod on the women's division, so to speak. But some people are just tired of the whole. And I'm glad to see Paige back. And if they give Mandy Rose Eva Marie's old gimmick, now I would even be more happy. But and I'm just saying, I want that. That should have been a golden gimmick, Dawn. You know this. That gimmick was golden.
Yeah, it was going to work, but
it was going to work. I was invested, but things happen. But
yeah,
hopefully, but I'm just saying, I just hope that they can just, kind of get over it as time goes on. But we'll see.
All right. So we have Matt Hardy. He's talking about the Great War. He says it continues in WWE. Of course, he's doing the Run DMC style promos with Bray Wyatt. So Bray Wyatt breaks in. Bray Wyatt says that Matt is the yin to his yang. He's been waiting for him. Matt plans to illuminate the masses, while Wyatt calls him a liar. Matt says he's crossed paths with Sister Abigail, but she has been consumed by evil. Wyatt calls Matt a jester and calls himself the king. Only one will survive. Matt says his army prepares for the battle and deletion, and then they both start laughing back and forth. You feeling this, Mo?
I've been waiting for this confrontation since Matt was in TNA, and I'm just hoping from what I understand, he has full control over this. So I hope that him and Bray can bring some magic to the ring and just set this whole thing off. This is gonna be something that we want to see. Bray and Matt colliding in this you know follow the buzzers and deletion. It's going to be incredible once it all comes together.
All right. We see Enzo in the back. He's talking to the cruiserweight title. He meets with Drew Gulak, who says that Swan has lost his opportunity and a new four-way contenders match will take place tonight, with the winner facing Drew Gulak next week, and then the winner of that match faces Enzo for the cruiserweight title. Enzo accidentally mentions Nia Jax, and Gulak says Enzo is testing him, and Enzo agrees with him. So we have a DD Baywatch match, as we have Finn Balor versus Curtis Axel. Finn Balor hits a jawbreaker and then the sling blade. Finn hits the shotgun dropkick, follows that up with the ultimate Kevin Sullivan foot stomp, and Finn Balor gets the win. So DD, Kurt Axel didn't have his. He finally dropped the neck brace.
Wonderful.
What did you feel about this match between two of your faves?
I felt like I didn't see it. But he lost, right? Curtis lost.
Yeah, Curtis lost. Yeah,
he hasn't won anything, has he?
No, they made it out to be that they were mocking him and Bo Dallas were mocking Finn coming down to the ring, like mocking him with the coat or whatever. So it had a little comedy to it.
I mean, you gotta have some fun. If you're not gonna win, the least you can do is have a comedy moment.
Right. So we have a Kane backstage promo about tonight's match with Braun. They aren't ordinary men, and Kane will enter the abyss with a fellow monster. But he will walk out alone and with a smile on his face, and he will go on to face Brock Lesnar and win the Universal title. We have Sheamus versus Seth Rollins. Sheamus misses the Brogue Kick and then gets hit with a super kick by Rollins. Rollins gets the win with the Snowmaker. This was a really good match. It wasn't as good as Cesaro and Seth Rollins, but I mean, Sheamus ain't better than Cesaro, so I mean, why would I expect that? But him and Seth still have pretty good chemistry, and this was a pretty good match.
Yeah, this match was good. I was sitting there like, oh, they was tearing it down. They was working on that leg. Seth was hurt and everything, but he overcame it.
Right. We have our cruiserweight contenders second chance match. We have Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander, Tony Nese, and Arya Daivari. Nese hits the knee strike on Alexander, but Ali makes the save. Daivari and Nese isolate Ali, but he fights back, tossing Nese to the outside. It breaks down. We get a lumbar check by Cedric Alexander on Daivari, and Cedric Alexander wins and advances to face Drew Gulak next week to determine the new number one contender for the Cruiserweight title. We had Drew Gulak on commentary, and I think I saw a lot of people in the WrassleCast live tweet really starting to kind of figure out what I've known for a few months, is that Drew Gulak anywhere near a microphone is magic. And a lot of people were talking about how good he was on the commentary.
Yeah, he was good. And I was saying, he's slowly becoming one of my favorites in the company, ever since he started this whole no-fly zone. But I was thinking about how this all came about. So Vince probably was, I don't know, listening to something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, and I'm just thinking about when Conrad does the Vince McMahon impersonation. No, not Conrad. Bruce does the Vince McMahon impersonation, and so Vince probably just sit back like, "God damn it, the other black guy, have him with it." And then Cedric gets the win. But I really, I mean, I would like to see Cedric. I don't know, I forgot who was saying about this slow build, talking about the slow build for him to get the cruiserweight title. I'm like, I want to see Cedric running for one of the mid card titles because he's too good for 205. Like, if we can, like, him and Roman just have a match, let us get that. But it was a good match. Drew Gulak was on the mic. Crazy. And how he was deflecting the
Yes.
questions. He was deflecting it. He was like, "Yeah, so if you were Enzo," he was like, "That's a really good question that you asked me." He was trying to deflect it. I was like, "This is great. This is gold. I'm enjoying this."
Yeah, just another guest 2 weeks in a row that wants Cedric Alexander to, just be outside of the cruiserweight division. And again, he suggests, Contest R suggests the same thing: Roman versus Cedric Alexander for the IC title. So
I'm
interesting.
like, I wanted to see it.
Interesting
It'll
that
be a
y'all would
great
have
match.
the same thoughts on back-to-back episodes. So we come back from commercial. Drew Gulak meets with Enzo backstage again and says that after he wins next week, he will become the cruiserweight champion. Enzo says that they aren't friends and that Gulak works for him. Enzo then tells him that his PowerPoint presentations. Enzo stops as Nia arrives. They kind of flirt a little bit back and forth. Nia says that she likes Drew's PowerPoint presentations and she wants to talk to Enzo alone. So Drew is like, "So Enzo, what do you want to tell me about my PowerPoint presentations again?" And he's like, "They're informative." It's like, right,
Almost
they're
died. He
informative.
flipped that. As soon as Nia said she liked it, he flipped that switch real quick. He was like, "Oh yeah, I like it too." I was just about to say that. I was like, "This is so good,
Yeah.
so good."
The fashion cast, Nia has like little colors in her the ends of her braids. So I know somebody saw that. I wasn't just the only one.
Oh, I saw it too. I was like, oh, I was like a new look, kind of, so to speak. I was like, okay,
So we have Roman Reigns versus Cesaro for the Intercontinental Championship.
oh man,
Cesaro looks for the Gots neutralizer. Reigns counters and hits the spear for the win. Now, usually I normally wouldn't have a problem with Roman Reigns winning a match with a spear. But
right,
after all the things they did in this match, it kind of
man,
made for like a less than
man.
like efficient finisher. Like, oh my goodness, you guys just went pillar to post for like 20 minutes.
They was people was just saying fight forever. I was like, this was just a wow. I was like, I said, who would be Cesaro to bring out a good match in Roman Reigns? I was like, I see that.
Yeah, this definitely got a lot of people online wanting a true program between these two where we can maybe get a series of these matches.
Mm,
But this is just what Cesaro's been doing for the better part. We've been doing this podcast for over 3 years now,
yeah,
and that's just what he's been doing since we've been on this podcast, just putting on great matches whenever he gets a chance and he gets time. And he's changed his style as a heel. He doesn't do a lot of the high flying stuff that we have seen him do. That just enhances his talent even more. So, but he really needs to get a serious singles run with the title. And I know y'all clamoring for Cedric Alexander, but Cesaro needs the IC championship first, and then we can
I
let
mean,
Cedric
I
get
mean
it.
that's, I mean I mean, Cesaro needs to be in that main event program, but I don't see why they just don't let him get that push. He deserves it. He's great.
Now imagine if the stable was the Paul Heyman stable was Cesaro and Brock. Like Paul
Ooh,
talked for just those two guys. Imagine Brock with Cesaro, and then they unleash Cesaro as they do Brock, and let
oh
Paul
man.
talk for him.
It wouldn't even be. It
It wouldn't be fair.
wouldn't be fair.
It wouldn't be fair. Next up, we have Asuka versus Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox music hits, but she doesn't appear. Absolution arrives, though, and we see Fox is injured backstage. Paige says that they gave Asuka warnings and they let her walk away. But not even Asuka can stop Absolution. Paige tells her to get out of the way, or they will make her get out of the way. Asuka attacks. She takes out Rose and Deville and gets the armbar on Paige. Rose and Deville return and make the save, but the rest of the women's locker room and Nia Jax and
Yes.
Alexa Bliss included arrive to make the save and get some revenge on Absolution. They eventually clear the ring out after Mandy Rose gets dump trucked by Nia Jax.
Look, I was like, did Mandy Rose get the number of that truck? Because she got it.
Yeah, she. I don't think Mandy Rose is taking a bump that hard in her career.
And so I'm thinking, and it was like rumor in the window going around saying, they was trying to keep Nia Jax away from Absolution. I said, plans must have changed quickly because she sure was out there. I said, Nia out there. I said, well, goddamn. And
Yeah, even Alexa Bliss was out there.
Right. And even Oscar stayed out there. I'm thinking like, okay, they're not gonna let Oscar touch him even. And the next thing you know, it was like Oscar, they came up circling Oscar like sharks, and I was like, well, rest in peace, Absolution, because y'all about to die.
Yeah, Oscar went straight for Mandy. She didn't even let them even get foot in the ring.
And she put that the lock on Paige. I was like, oh god, it's over. I was like, poor Paige, you only been back for a couple weeks, and Oscar's making you eat that.
It was cool that it appears that Sasha Banks was the one that kind of rallied the troops, and she was the first one running down to the ring with everybody in tow. So just another case of Black women saving the world this week.
They need to listen to them.
So we come back from commercial. We got Kurt Angle. He's ordering that the ring be reinforced for Kane versus Strowman. Jason Jordan pops up. He apologizes for his actions last week. Dad and son have a laugh, but Jordan says that he should have had the match tonight with Samoa Joe. No wonder Stephanie got angry with you, he says. He says that he's the only one who can beat Samoa Joe.
Oh, God. Why did you say that?
Kurt said, hold on, Jason. Let me tell you something. Holding your own isn't winning. You've had some good matches, but you hadn't beat nobody. Jason Jordan, of course, gets pissy, and then he leaves because Kurt Angle won't do what he wants him to do. This was good.
Kind of liking this. I'm liking this turn because I'm just sitting here like, I said, Jason Jordan need to turn heel, to get over that hump. And by him saying, I'm the only one who can beat Samoa Joe. And I know TNA's still in business. I know Kurt Pipe was like, wait a minute. How for him in the past. You don't want none of him.
I'm pretty sure the wrestling community collectively had the Nick Young meme when they heard that Jason Jordan's the only one who beat Samoa Joe.
I came with the guy doing geometry on his fingers. I was like, sir, like, what are you talking about? You the only way to beat Samoa Joe. So you might think you can, but.
So we get the aforementioned Samoa Joe versus the lunatic Dean Ambrose. Ambrose hits the elbow drop press, but Jason Jordan had the ref DD distracted as Ambrose covered for about a 10 count. Ambrose goes after Jason Jordan, and Joe hits them with the elbow suicida. Joe hits the senton on Jordan, and then the coquina clutch finishes off Dean Ambrose. I put out on Twitter that that elbow suicida that Samoa Joe does is like a Winnebago driving off a bridge.
Oh man, I know it had to hurt.
Yeah, this is another. The theme of this actually was really good wrestling on this edition of Monday Night
It
Raw.
was.
Another good match. Dean Ambrose definitely put in some good work against Samoa Joe. They were physical against each other. Good showcase.
But hope for a question: who would you rather get ran over by, Samoa Joe or Nia Jax?
Uh, no brainer, sir.
What kind of
Nia
question is
Jax.
that?
I'm
What red
just,
blooded man is gonna say anything other than Naya?
but I'm just saying, if Nia hits you, you not getting up either way.
Right. So if you can be knocked on the ground because of Samoa Joe or Mo, I don't know about that question. Let's move on.
Yeah, me either.
I'm
Seems
just
like it would
saying.
be very obvious what the answer
Like,
would
I
be.
understand maybe Samoa Joe or Braun Strowman, Nia Jax or
I don't know.
Tamina. Like,
Nia.
I don't understand the names you chose.
I'm
Listen, none of
just.
my business. Go ahead, Baltimore. You
Here
go
you go.
ahead.
Here you go again. Don't. See, I got love for DC, but don't do me like that. We hurting right now. Ravens lost to the Steelers, and like in the fourth quarter and Sunday night,
Struggle.
Rich
Cause
Swan getting
Baltimore.
arrested. Come
Cause
on.
Baltimore. That's what y'all do. No shade. No shade.
You know what? No, I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna keep it neutral. You're right. You're right. I'm gonna keep it all the way neutral.
Dana Brooke is in the back. They show her meeting with Titus, and it appears that she has joined a Titus Worldwide as a statistician in research and development. The Good Brothers arrive and call them nerds. And then everybody clears out of the way because Braun is angry and he's walking to the ring. So,
You see that thing feels like the Red Sea when Braun came through.
what do you think of Quintessential R will not be pleased with these developments of Dana Brooke joining the Titus Worldwide brand?
He'll be
But
all
There's
right.
always one. There's always a token.
but they said, hey, they need somebody to take down their stats and help with R&D. So
Oh,
Dana
I
did you
Brooke.
mean,
see? Did
I
you
mean,
see?
what stats? They lose, right? They don't win either.
Do you see how tight? I mean, not tight is Apollo was hyped because he joined the brand.
All right.
I was like, wait a minute, where's this?
Technically, that's the first win they've had in a while. So,
Right. I said, what is this hypeness you're doing, sir?
to our main event, it's time for Braun Strowman versus Kane in our number one contenders match. Kane and Braun head to the floor for some brawling. They work into the crowd. Braun then tackles Kane through the barricade, and we get the double count out. So after the double count out, they continue the fight. Braun grabs part of the steps, and so does Kane. They charge and collide. Kane is down, and Braun tries to injure Kane's throat, but Kane battles back. Back in the ring, Braun gets a table to the delight of the crowd. Kane bails out, gets a chair, and he attacks Braun. We get more chair shots by Kane. Kane sets up a table, and then they both go down. Kane sits up, so does Braun. Braun ends up power slamming Kane through the table, and Braun stands tall. And this is how we end Monday Night Raw. So there's no winner. And, again, we see Strowman getting the best of Kane after the big Ram power slam. Any, did you feel satisfied at this ending, this finish?
I mean, need something to keep the storyline going. So it was cool. It was they don't beat each other to death by the end of this year. So have at it, fellas.
All right. So this was a pretty good episode of Monday Night Raw. Like I said, the actual wrestling was pretty strong in this episode. Drew Gulak was a standout. Every time, like I said, he was near the microphone or speaking, he definitely stood out. And Samoa Joe was definitely the star of the episode as well. So,
there was one glaring omission. One glaring omission.
yes, Elias.
Yes, and then I no song, and I'm like,
You're disappointed.
I was very disappointed.
So you walk with
I,
Elias.
of course, I walk with Elias. That's the
Well,
hashtag.
look at Baltimore being right once. No.
The only person who's been on this podcast who fails to realize that they need to walk with Elias is Sam.
Yeah,
Well, of course.
some people, what are you gonna do?
Well, some
Yeah.
people you just can't.
Yeah, changing his mind is like turning around a battleship. It takes a
Changing
while.
his mind is like trying to change Donald Trump's mind. Like it's not gonna happen. It's just not possible.
All
You
right,
have to
so
wait like 8 months to a year and then make it sound like it was his idea. And then be like, oh yeah, I always walked with Elias. You didn't? It'll be like that.
Right.
I mean, not that much because that's too nice. But you'd be like, yeah, what's wrong with that? It'll be more like that.
all right, so I'm gonna turn it over now to Miss Didi Jonay for her SmackDown Matters report.
It's my turn. Yes. So they were in Cincinnati, Ohio. Kevin and Sammy have started a new movement. It is called the Yep movement. Basically asking people to occupy SmackDown. It specifically targets Shane McMahon and requests his removal from Power. They have taken old Daniel Bryan t-shirts and have taped over it so that instead of it saying yes, 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 it says yep, yep, yep. Are we fans?
I saw that. I'm down with that.
Yeah, we're fans.
Totally
Down with that.
fans.
Down with that. I was like,
Marked out as soon as I saw what it said.
Yeah, I didn't see it, for reasons, but that's okay. I'll be up on things come tomorrow when I get paid. Anyway, nobody's business. AJ comes out. Excuse me. AJ comes out. He's talking about his title match on Sunday. He's reflecting back on everything Jinder did to defend his title, like the Punjabi prison match, bringing the great Khali all the way from India, blah, blah, blah. The Singhs interrupt. They say normally they would introduce Mahal, but instead they introduced video of him beating their asses last week. And so AJ's like, you know what? I feel bad. Comes to the ring. Let's hug it out. And so the crowd chants, hug it out, hug it, blah, 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 blah. So then, excuse me, the Singhs say that they want to be in AJ's corner for Clash of Champions. And they, run down all the awful things Jinder did, blah, blah, blah. They even said that Jinder thinks that they're twins, like everybody else does. But they're not. So you know what I mean? It means that Jinder doesn't care about them. And they also said that Jinder made them kiss his feet. They smell like cheese and butter chicken, which is not the best smell. So it is like, yeah. But then he's like, can I ask why you were with Jinder over the weekend in India? And they're like, what? And then he displays photographic proof. The crowd chants, you fucked up.
Yeah, he put them on that Summer Jam screen. He had them receipts. He had two
had
copies.
them ready.
He had the
them ready.
physicals and the photo copies.
Did he have angles?
He's like, right here we have you two accompanying Jinder to the ring. What's up with that?
Yeah. So then Jinder interrupts. He said AJ says that the Singhs suck and he's gonna face Jinder 1-on-1. He headbutts Sunil, punches Samir. And then that's how that goes. The next match, well, the first match of the night, I should say, is Charlotte versus Ruby Wyatt. The things they happen, or was that later? Let me read it. Okay, so la 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 la. I know I'm reading. I'm sorry. There's a lot of words that had nothing to do with the match. Go ahead.
I'll help you out. Charlotte takes out Logan on the floor and then she sends Riot to the floor. Charlotte walks over, the Riot Squad. She lays out Natalia, but then Natalia attacks Charlotte from behind, runs her to the post, and of course the match gets called for disqualification.
Okay, perfect. I'm there. I caught it. Hold on. Don't interrupt me. Because this is the one part that I did see thanks to social media. Because my Wi Fi still works. Yes. So, after the DQ, they beat up Charlotte as Natty watches. They set up the steel steps to crush Charlotte like they did to Nebe a few weeks ago. But Naomi runs out to make the save. Bitch, when I tell you she ran down that ramp and hit a double drop kick like at full speed onto Liv and whoever's name is Morgan and Logan. The twins? What the fuck is his name?
Sarah Logan.
Sure, that sounds right. Then basically whip that ass. Then she attacks Ruby in the ring, gives Hero the rear view, and they have to pull Ruby out of the ring to save her life. So then they back up down the ramp, and from the back comes Carmella, Tamina, and Lana, and they just do a light whooping, ass whooping, just a light one. And that's how the segment is. It was real nice.
That wasn't Naomi. That was Trinity from Orlando.
that was the old town coming out of her.
When I tell you she ran full speed, I must have replayed that gif like a smooth 8 times. I was like, so she just like jumped in the air. Like, how do you do that? It was amazing. She's the best. What are you gonna do with her? So, yeah. Anyway, backstage, Daniel's on the phone with Shane. Owens and Sammy interrupts. They show off their Yep t-shirts and drop off a flyer for Daniel. And Daniel is seen looking at the flyer. ... Next, Baron Corbin versus Ziggles for a non-title match. Excuse me. I promise I don't have the SARS. It's just a cold. So Bobby's on commentary. Interferes almost immediately, jumps into the ring, gives Ziggles a DDT for the DQ, much like what Ziggles did to him either last week or the week before. Who can keep track? Baron tries to attack him, so Bobby gives him a DDT too. And then he poses. Why? Because he's glorious. So, did you know that the Fashion Files is now a WWE.com exclusive show?
Word.
So they give you a clip so that you can know to take your ass to WWE.com so you can see Fashion Files in its entirety. But basically, Fandango told the Ascension that he and Tyler Breeze were going to fight the Bludgeon Brothers.
Oh,
and
gosh.
Breeze seemed like it was news to him. And then they lightly bump fists and look terrified. That is going to happen, allegedly, at Clash of Champions.
They were extremely terrified.
It was like, like, are we being fed here? We the human sacrifice for them to get over? Okay.
Next, Bludgeon Brothers defeated, what did Samuel call them, local competitors?
Yes. My notes called them Jimmy and Johnny Boots and Tights.
I love that because my notes call them Colin and Joe. I like your name much better. Your name rocks. But this Colin Delaney was apparently on ECW forever ago. Who cares?
That was that guy? Wait a minute. That's who that was? I knew he looked familiar. Yeah, he was like
you making stuff
beat
up. You know you don't know who that is.
No, seriously. He was like a
jobber
of some sort. Yeah, of some sort. He was like supposed to be big, but kind of like how James Ellsworth was. That's what his kind of role was.
Okay. Like accidentally famous as being a good for nothing? Or something like that? No, that's what Ellsworth was.
He was an indie darling, and that's what that was, but continue.
Oh, well, you didn't use the right words then, because I described James Ellsworth. Anyway, Harper and Rowan won with a double choke slam on Delaney. Oh, man, I'm sorry. Coughing is disgusting. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out.
Oh, hold on. Before you move on.
Yes.
He let out a scream.
I was just about to ask that.
Then
it was in my notes. It's called a shriek. I felt like that was disrespectful, so I didn't want to mention it.
No, it's the highlight of the
That was
whole match.
hilarious. That was hilarious when he
Because
did
the match
that.
was only like 45 seconds. But I mean, literally, they get ready to pick him up. He's like, "Yee!"
Oh, baby. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Owens and Sammy come out. Um, Sammy's talking after everything he says. Kevin says, "Yep." It's starting to take over the crowd. Kevin says Shane is the worst McMahon of all. He talks about all the stipulations at Clash of Champions and how it's all unfair. And Sammy says, "Yep," after each statement, and now the crowd is all in. Um, Owen says the people in the back should come on down and join the Yep movement. Nobody comes out, but eventually Daniel Bryan comes out. And Sammy's like, "Well, I thought we would be joined by thousands, but really, all the one that matters is Daniel." So then Daniel's like, "What are you guys doing?" And he said, "Blah, blah, blah. We're just like you." Daniel says the Yes movement isn't about him, it's about the fans. And blah, blah, blah. So then Daniel says he has Shane's back, but he knows that Kevin and Sammy are talented. He blah 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 blah. He promises to make sure that Kevin and Sammy are given every opportunity to prove they belong. However, if they lose, there will be no excuses. They will be fired. And then Daniel announces himself as the second referee of that same match. Um, or
That's some
something.
that's some old school world class championship wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, like in the early 80s,
Mm-hmm.
when they would do a tag team match,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it was like on special occasions, what they would do is they'd have two referees. They'd have a referee on the inside, and then they'd have a referee on the outside.
That's
What
truly old
makes
school.
what makes this weird is they're both going to be inside the ring apparently.
So basically, they're gonna start fighting each other.
There will be some favoritisms, I'm pretty sure, shown
So
by each
basically,
man.
somebody's gonna put the paws on one or the other.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
Possibly, yes.
yeah, yeah. That's gonna be a bonus point. And who you got is they putting the paws on each other. Next, Rusev and Aiden versus Jesus Christ. If I die, that'll be so inconvenient. Hacking like a psycho. Okay. Aiden English and Rusev versus the Usos. English sings the rest of the song he didn't get to finish last week before the match starts because it's still Rusev Day. The New Day is on commentary. They are not impressed. The Usos come out, tell Aiden that. Oh, they tell Aiden all the gifts that he's going to get from Santa, including singing lessons,
Oh boy.
a toupee, a new tag partner, a tan. So
Damn.
then Chad and Shelton Benjamin come out. They do some comedy, blah, 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 blah. Somebody from the New Day laughs when Gable calls him and Benjamin the Masters because who are they? Aiden distracts the referee, which allows Rusev to hit an Uso, we don't know which one, with a super kick. Then Aiden follows with the DDT for the win. So your winners are Rusev.
Take a drink. Distraction finish. Um,
So
the,
hold up. So Didi, so we not playing Name That Uso no more? We not doing that no more?
Well, if you've been paying attention, I don't have cable, so I don't know which one is which because I didn't see it.
Oh, I mean, oh, that's
You get
right.
it?
My bad.
So I don't. The only way I know is if the notes know. The
Oh,
notes don't
yeah,
know. The notes
the
don't know.
the New
So I
Day
don't
need
know.
to incorporate some bacon with all these pancakes they bring out to the
um. Ooh. Okay. So Renee interviews AJ backstage, but he gets attacked by Jinder Mahal. Blah 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 blah. They run down the card for Clash of Champions, which includes Mojo and Zach. Who cares? Not I. final match of the night is Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke Nakamura with Sammy and Randy ringside. Before the match, Renee interviews both Kevin and Shinsuke. She asks Randy if they're concerned over Shane's motivations getting in the way of their match. Um, the crowd chants for Nakamura because nobody gives a shit about all lives. Eventually, he says Kevin and Sammy are obnoxious and self-entitled. Like, how dare you use those words when you're not describing yourself? Anyway, he said they would do everyone a favor by beating the two idiots on Sunday. He asked, fuck. Renee asked Nakamura if he agreed with that statement or sentiment, and he responded, "Yep." Get it? Yep. Anyway, Daniels Ryan's on commentary. He says he's not sure how they're going to be referees in the same match, but they'll figure it out this week. They said the announcers asked, they're not announcers, they're commentary. Whatever. They asked Daniel if he had even told Shane that he was making himself referee. And Daniel tried to like downplay it. And he's like, I just want to make sure the right team wins. AKA, nah, I didn't sell him anything. You do what you want when you pop it. Anyway, so Daniel says that he can relate to Owens and Zayn, but he mentioned rooming with Nakamura years ago and considers him a friend. So there's that. Then there's a story about Kevin trying to gouge out Daniel's eyes in a match, and he ended up with a detached retina. Whatever reason, your favorite horrible commentary person, Brian or Byron, whatever his name is, says that didn't happen in the WWE. And Daniel's like, so what? It still happened. My retina was still detached. What you mean?
Shade. Shade.
So then Corey Graves says that Byron doesn't really have very much life experience outside of being at the commentary table. Shady shade. So then Nakamura makes a comeback. Blah, 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 blah. There are knee strikes, leg strikes. Owens tries a forearm. Nakamura ducks. Owens knocks out the referee. Then Brian jumps off commentary, puts on the referee shirt. Nakamura hits a leg stripe. Owens kicks out at a 2 count. Sammy and Orton get into it ringside after Zayn tried to interfere. Then he pokes Orton in the eye and tosses him into a ring post like a winner. Nakamura knocks Sammy off the apron. Owens uses the distraction to hit a pop-up powerbomb for the win. For whatever reason, Byron tries to claim that this means that Brian will screw over Nakamura and Orton at Clash of Champions. At the end, Renee tries to interview Sammy and Kevin. Owens grabs the mic, calls them the best in all of WWE. He kisses Sammy on the cheek, and then they lead a yep chant to end the night.
The only thing that you missed was they laid out AJ Styles in the back. The Singh brothers and Jinder Mahal ran up on him. And
she said that.
I said Mahal.
I could have sworn she said that.
No, I must have missed it. Sorry. It's in my zone over here.
Yeah, she said that. She did say that they beat him down. So
that sucked though. It was like they didn't need to do it. They could have just left it as it was. I didn't really care for that. I would have preferred AJ like outsmarted them, and then they just left it at that going into the pay-per-view. I mean, we already know the Singh brothers are back with them, so like, what's the reason to do all that? But oh well. Mo, anything else catch your eye on this SmackDown?
Not really. I was just here for the yep. That was it.
Yeah, the yep movement is definitely here for again. Sami Zayn as a heel, the best thing going.
And that's one thing I'm glad they did, because just him being a punching bag and not getting nowhere, and then they turned him heel, and I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah,
we get to see what he can do.
Yeah, he's awesome. So at this time, we'll let you know that this episode of the WrassleCast is being sponsored by Amazon.com. We're getting to the crunch, people. As you hear this episode, this will be the last day that you can ship your orders, and they will arrive at their destination by Christmas Eve. So why don't you take advantage of that free shipping that's going to be offered throughout the internet by doing some shopping through CSPN.us and Amazon.com. Go to our website, www.cspn.us, click on the tab that says Support the Podcast. When you get to that tab, click on Amazon, go into the Amazon portal, do your shopping as you normally would, and some of your purchase comes back to the CSPN to keep the WrassleCast free of charge each and every week. So Amazon.com through CSPN.us, do it today. Next, we're going to go to our final review of NXT. Special week for NXT as they debuted on USA. So, of course, we start with the champ, Cien Almas, with Zelina Vega, hey boo, versus Fabian Eichner. Eichner heads up top, and Zelina Vega distracts him, allowing Almas to dump Eichner to the floor and slam him into the steps. They get back in. Cien Almas hits the hammerlock DDT, and Cien Almas gets the win. Yeah, most of what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying who. Because when I saw him, I was like, "Who is this guy?"
Oh man, Fabian Eichner's the truth, man. He was in the Cruiserweight Classic, and then he put on a little bit more weight to kind of get into the heavyweight ranks. But he's a high flyer, though.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
Yeah, he hit a nice running springboard on the floor to Cien Almas, and then he followed that up with a nasty springboard DDT. So I mean, yeah, he had a couple of really good, impressive moves in, but like the note said here, he went up top, and Zelina Vega did what Zelina Vega does, and that gave Almas just that little bit of opening for him to advance.
So the addition of her to to Cien Almas, can we just say that's been like one of the best upgrades in NXT? Just seeing her around, and then how she just sneaks her attacks in, kind of like how Jacqueline used to do back in the day when she would body slam in WCW.
Right. She's more like a sensational Sherry because sensational Sherry used to get physical, but on a real sneaky tip. But yeah, I mean, when she walks out, that upgrades you by Beyonce just needs to be blaring because, he was going nowhere. He was, probably on the verge of being released. He was really unhappy with being at NXT, but they kind of, built the story up of her trying to get his head right, and this is the payoff. You know what I'm saying? He finally started listening to her, and now he's a champion. So yeah, it's been a great story and a great way to get him over. So we have an Aleister Black video package, and then we follow that up with a Sanity promo, and they're talking about the beauty of war games. They say they have not left the battlefield, and next week they will finish what they started when they face off with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly to defend their NXT titles. Then we get the Authors of Pain versus Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. Lorcan eats a Death Valley driver into the turnbuckles. Authors of Pain follow up with the Super Collider and power bombs, and then the last chapter finishes off. Oney Lorcan and Authors of Pain are victorious. Another good match here, hard-hitting, quick match. Usually when Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan face off, they wrestle each other, and somebody gets busted open hard way. So they had a chance to actually hard way somebody else besides each other this time. But yeah, that wasn't happening. Authors of Pain did their due. Now this is there's a little difference here. If you watch this episode on USA, this is where it goes straight into the main event of Adam Cole versus Aleister Black. But if you watch this event on the network, there is a Peyton Royce versus Ember Moon match right here. And so Ember Moon, of course, gets the win. Billie Kay tries to interfere. It ends up costing Peyton the match. She gets distracted. Ember hits the Eclipse, and gets the win. Then after the match, Billy Kay and Peyton are both beating down Ember. Nikki Cross makes the save. And then, Nikki Cross kind of stares at the title. So we kind of have like a little situation here going on with her, Nikki Cross is trying to make challenges, and she's also seems like she's going to be on Ember's side to help, ward off Billy Kay and Peyton. So now to the main event, we get Adam Cole, baby, versus Aleister Black, an NXT title contenders match. Aleister Black blocks a super kick by Adam Cole, hits a huge knee strike. Aleister hits the Black Mass to get the win. So we have so far Aleister Black, Killian Dane, and Johnny Gargano have all advanced to the Fatal 4-Way #1 contenders match. And we have one more spot available, and that will be determined next week. This was a pretty good episode of NXT. I'm glad that they got a chance to showcase Cien Almas. Too bad they didn't have Street Profits on here, though.
Oh, that's
great. What I really would have preferred is that they would have had Street Profits on here. If on the NXT version on the network, they do have a promo where they're like, out on the street, kind of doing, men on the street type promo deal. But it was on the USA version, and I wish that would have made the USA version. So the whole world could have got exposed to Montez Ford.
Those two guys, incredible. And it's like it was like kind of I was watching. I remember when they was doing the mannequin challenge, they was in that video, and I remember when Facebook shows the memories, and they were there, and I was like, "Dad, they was there for that." It was like they've been around for a minute, but they got the sauce,
They bring the swag like nobody can.
Right.
Yeah, so Adam Cole versus Aleister Black, really good match. Adam Cole really opened up early and had a lot of offense, and then Aleister Black kind of took over towards the end. So definitely a match worth checking out. I had a thought that if Vince really wanted to just blow the roof off WrestleMania 2020, or actually, excuse me, 2019, because we're coming up on the 2018 WrestleMania. Right. Is that Aleister Black versus Finn Balor for the Universal title. Aleister Black's a super duper star.
He is. Especially with the match with Velveteen Dream at NXT TakeOver.
Velveteen Dream's a super duper star in the making too.
Oh man, that's if only I don't know, man. But
you're not sold?
No. I'm very sold. I'm just saying. Matches like this, we had to wait, almost 2 years, almost a year or two in the making to get them, and I'm like, man, I just wish we could just get it. But maybe Ross wouldn't know how to handle that,
Yeah, but I just think that fantasy booking wise, that would be the match I would be thinking about making. Just thinking, about business and just how, because I mean, the crowd right now is really ready to cheer Finn Balor again as in the Universal title picture.
Right.
He's been held down. It's almost been a year now, since he won it and got hurt and came back and did all that stuff. So he's kind of, the crowd is ready for him to come back and kind of assume that spot. And I think that they're starting to kind of clue in to like, why isn't he here? And I just think that they're missing a chance to really catch this dude and push him to the spot where he was in the beginning. But as we've said on this podcast many times, the one thing you can't do is get a title and then get hurt right after you get it, because Vince will fucking shit on you for the rest of your career.
That's the whole he's not over, kind of thing was on Twitter and everything.
Right.
And then what was dope was when Kevin Owens went and put his mask on there and then kind of spelled out "You're over." I was like, it's people who know that he's over, but Vince is just being stuck in his ways.
Right, right. So that was NXT. So now it's time for everybody's favorite game show. Hashtag who you got?
Who you got?
Join us this Sunday night for hashtag Cast of Champions as we live tweet WWE's Clash of Champions. Use the hashtag Cast of Champions to share your pro wrestling commentary with color. So we'll start off with the match that Didi Jonay will not see because, of course,
No, she won't.
hashtag say no to pre-shows portion of the event. It will be her favorite, well, one of her favorite, Spicy Whites, Mojo Rawley, versus his former partner, Zack Ryder. So we'll start.
Can y'all not hear me?
Yeah, we hear you good now. What happened?
Oh, because y'all talking about me like I died or something.
Oh, no. So we'll start with you, Didi. Who you got? Mojo Rawley or Zack Ryder?
Zack Ryder. I mean, not really, but Zack Ryder.
Okay. All right. Mo, who you got?
Well, with Mojo, he needs this.
Yep, I'm going with Mojo as well. So now we're going to start off the actual Cast of Champions edition of the Who You Got preview, as we have the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Fashion Police, aka Breezango. Maurice, who you got?
R.I.P. to Breezango because they taking this L. Going with Bludgeon Brothers.
Yes, I would agree that Bludgeon Brothers will be winning as well. Miss Didi Jonay, who you got? We can't hear you this time because you're on mute.
She's on mute.
I got the Bludgeon Brothers.
All right. For the WWE SmackDown Tag Team titles, we have a four-way. We have the Usos, the New Day, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, and Aiden English and Rusev. So, Didi Jonay, who you got?
Oh my goodness. I dropped everything off the table. But I have Rusev and Aiden English.
Oh, look at you going off the grid. All right, Maurice?
I'm going with Trap Usos.
All right. I'm going to go with Benjamin and Gable.
Oh, this will be interesting.
Yes, it definitely should. For the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, we have a Lumberjill match between Charlotte Flair and Natalya. We're going to have the Riot Squad and the rest of the SmackDown women's roster as the Lumberjills. So, Maurice, who you got?
Who, me or D?
You.
Oh, Charlotte.
All right. Miss Didi Jonay, Charlotte or Natalya?
I also have Charlotte.
Okay. I'm going to go with Charlotte as well. Next up, we have the WWE United States Championship match, as we have a triple threat between Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, and Dolph Ziggler. Didi Jonay, who you got?
Bobby. Not
Okay.
really. I'm not confident in it, but Bobby.
Okay. Maurice?
Bobby Roode. Glorious.
I'm going to go with Big Banter, Baron Corbin.
I knew you would.
We have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura, with the special referees being Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan and the special stipulation of if Owens and Zayn lose, their WWE careers are over with. So, Miss Didi Jonay, who you got?
For the purposes of the game, I have Sammy and Kevin. However, there will be shenanigans, but we won't get into it. I just got Sammy and I got Kevin.
Okay. Maurice?
Going with Sammy and Kevin.
All right. And I'm going to go with Sammy and Kevin as well. Then we have our main event of the evening for the WWE Championship. We have the phenomenal AJ Styles versus the modern day Maharaja Jinder Mahal. So, Maurice, who you got?
Going back and forth with this one, but I'm going to go out on a limb and pick Jinder.
All right. Miss Didi Jonay, who you got?
I got AJ.
All right. I'm going to agree with Maurice. I'm picking Juicy Jinder as well to recapture for the second time the WWE Championship. So again, the hashtag for this Sunday is hashtag Cast of Champions. Join us at 8 p.m. as we will be live tweeting Clash of Champions. For the pre-show, of course, the hashtag is Say No to pre-shows. So please join the fans and hosts of the WrassleCast and share your pro wrestling commentary with color. Also, on Twitter, look out, do a search the hashtag Who You Got so you can vote in our Twitter polls so you guys can let us know who you think are going to be victorious this week at Clash of Champions. So at this point, turn it over to our guest, Maurice, for his final thoughts and shout outs.
Final thoughts. Definitely, if they're not going to do that with anyway, I'm going to ignore that outburst from our friends in DC. Anyway, something with the Good Brothers and Finn, because if they're not going to let Finn get into the title scene, they need to just have them come together and be a faction and just, fight Titus Worldwide or some junk like that. I don't know, but they need to do something with Finn because you don't want another hostile takeover like the fans normally do.
You totally sold the Good Brothers and Finn short. Dude, the Shield ready made right there.
Well, you got to build it up though. And he already talked. It's already, I have a feeling that the Shield ready to break off and go back doing their own thing again. But nostalgia was fun, except for when Roman got sick. But
what they should do is they should treat it like Voltron, where hey, we can come do our thing on the outside, but we also still have the ability to come together as one if there's something big enough that we need to.
Right, but that was just me though. And also, Nia needs to get. They need to do something with. They need to get. Alexa Bliss is good with the title, but we need a fresh run with a new champion or something like that. I mean, Nia's just been long overdue.
In the words of Nate Dogg, hold up, wait.
No, I'm just saying.
Alexa Bliss champion forever.
Whoa, calm down, bro. No, I mean she's good, but we just want, a lot of us would love to see Nia Bay, hold the strap and just be the champion that we all need.
Right, I agree with that too.
You said shout outs. Shout out to you and DD. Thanks for having me on, even though DD trying to slander my good city's name and everything. I will see you again, DD. I don't know when and where, but we will have words. Shout out to my folks in the True Hardcore Wrestling Fans group. We on Facebook. Um, and shout out to anybody the Rawcast, SmackDown Matters, NXT Cast. Everybody who tweets with us, talks wrestling. It's all good. And that's it for me.
All right, all right. Thank you for being on as always, Mo. Miss Didi Jonay.
I just want to be clear that slander is when you lie, right? It ain't slander if it's true. Let's just make sure that that's clear.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, shout out to Mel because Mel always gets shout outs. Shout out to my glow ladies. We're coming soon to a radio station or podcast app near you, I should say. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Greg. Shout out to Robitussin because I clearly have been neglecting my drugs, and that's what all this popping is about. So let me go sip on my anti-coughing medication. But yeah, shout out to everybody else who watches the show, listens to the show. Words, they're difficult. I was drinking Ray and Nephew. Don't blame me. Yep.
All right. I'd like to thank our guest again, Maurice, for joining the show. I'd like to thank my SmackDown Matters correspondent, Ms. Didi Jonay. I'd like to thank Sam and Greg. I'd like to thank Classic for the work he's going to do in post-production. I'd also like to thank Mel because Mel always gets shout-outs.
Yes, she does.
Gordon Baker Bone, Saron Russell, everybody on that side of things. Shout out to them. Shout out to everybody here on the CSPN. Shout out to Ratchet Ramblings putting in that work and, catching people up on that theater. Shout out to Jeremy and Candace. Like I said, shout out to Bad and Boozy, our new episode here on our new podcast here on CSPN. Also, shout out to Off That Drink, Rock Solid Radio. They're our latest podcast that we've added to the network, so please check them out, show them love. Again, hashtag Cast of Strong Style is the hashtag for this Sunday's live tweets. And I think that's all I've got for this week. Like I said, shout out to the Glow. Attention. Next week's episode will be the Ladies Night WrassleCast. They are coming back. Like I said, every time I think it's the best episode that we do. It's the most fun for me. So
yes.
Jay to the max, and two of their co-hosts will be here taking over the show, and they will be left to their own devices. So that's always exciting, and I'm gonna have a lot of laughs on the other end just listening to them. What'd you say, Didi? I'm sorry.
But it's such a bad idea.
So I expect there to be lots of alcohol and creepcast talk flowing, and some fashion casts.
They will be creeping.
Some fashion casts in there as well. So for our special guest tonight, Maurice, my SmackDown Matters correspondent, Didi Jonay, I'm Don Delarente. This has been episode 163 of the WrassleCast. Please stay tuned for the parting promo.